welcome to the Geek Out. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring Astra on. Hey!
Hello! I got up at like 4 in the morning. It took 6 hours.
Whatever you want. This is your ultimate.
I want to be in a giant bumblebee, like huge suit, full armor. I want to be able to talk. I want to have the whole thing.
All right, there's a guy driving by. He drives a hearse every night by my house, and he bumps loud, bassy music. So he's going by right now, so sorry about that.
That's okay.
This is our second episode, so I'm still working through the kinks right now, trying to figure it all out.
But it's good to see you. Oh my god, your setup is so cool.
Oh, thank you. I thought I wanted to upgrade it a little bit. I'm always about upgrading, so. And also, like, I like to bring on this little guy because he's so cool.
Hello, Astrovoid.
He used to have a job a long time ago. Do you remember Ask Jeeves? You might not remember it. It was an internet search engine before Google. So he's been out of work for a while, and we decided to hire him on.
That's so cute. I love him.
What did you say?
I work for tips.
He works for tips, he says.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, so it was so good to see you the other day, last Saturday.
I know. I missed cons, and it was so good to run into you.
I know it was. Was that the first one you have been to since everything kind of calmed down and settled down?
Yeah.
Like
yeah, unfortunately. It's been, I want to say, my last one that I went to before this would have been GalaxyCon in Richmond, Virginia, I believe, back in March. So it's definitely been a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to go to that one, and I was still working at the hospital at the time, and I couldn't go that weekend because that was my weekend to work, so I was like bummed. And then I was super bummed because then the pandemic hit and everything shut down. And
No.
Oh, yeah. So what have you been doing throughout this time?
So I tried my best besides juggling the switch with school and trying to figure all of that and some family life stuff going on. I really tried to focus on creating content. So I got into TikTok by accident, and learning how to make armor, learning more about foam work and prop making and all that kinds of stuff. Yeah. So that was kind of what I tried to focus on.
Yeah, well, I can tell you focused on it. I've seen your props that you've done. The batons you did were amazing. The Blackwidow ones, those are so awesome. I just wanted to let everybody know a little bit about you real quick.
Okay.
You've been cosplaying now for about 2 years, correct? Yes.
Roughly.
And I mean, I'm blown away with what you've done in 2 years. It's like,
thank you.
I can't. It's like I think when I see you now, I'm like, oh my god, I feel like you've been doing it forever. Like you've just been doing this forever. What did you do before cosplay?
Well, to probably no one's surprise, I was a theater kid. So I was in high school.
Okay.
And for those of you, I'm only 20. Just turned 20.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. Back in March, but you know, we count it. So for theater, we have International Thespian Society Day, and it was a tradition where every year we get to dress up for the ceremony, and we the seniors that year were like, we really want to do something unique together as a group, so we all chose Marvel, and everybody else yes, hello, everybody else already took every other characters, and so I was like, who am I gonna be? And I used to crew and cast, and I was really big with doing the makeup side of things. So all my friends were like, oh my gosh, you should do Gamora, you're insane, you'd paint yourself green. And I was like, you're right, I would. So I got everything, and that's what I did. And then I already had the costume, had everything with me, and I always wanted to go to a con.
Yeah.
So after I graduated, it was around June-ish, and June, July-ish, and my mom just was like, hey, I didn't know this, but Fredericksburg has a con, and it's tomorrow. Do you want to go? And I was like, oh my god, yeah. And I already had everything, so I just did it, and then I went. Nobody was very surprised when I told them that it was my first con and I did that, and they were like, "Oh wow, you just kind of went for it." And I was like, "Well,
I mean, you go all the way or don't go at all, right?
right. I already had
My
it. So,
philosophy.
I already had it, so I was like, I might as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's kind of like how I got into it. So.
All right, that's awesome. I know you were Gamora the first time I met you at the Virginia Comic Con, which was
Yes.
well. And I saw you there. I was Laura Croft from the 2018 movie, Tomb Raider. And so I saw you there and I was like blown away because Gamora was one of my favorite characters in Guardians of the Galaxy. I just love her. And I thought you looked just like, I couldn't believe how much you looked like her. And of course you won the contest because you deserved it. It was amazing.
Well, thank you. I tried. It was the first contest I won, ironically. I entered in the first one at FredCon and I lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, because they wanted something that was built. And I literally just started. So I had bought the costume and I did all my own makeup, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So I took my own homemade one, and that wasn't enough either. So I think I'm gonna have to get really creative and go out for the next one and see what happens. But
yeah, I know it's funny because it's like whenever you do a costume contest or a cosplay contest and a con, they really want to know what you built. Like that's a big part of it, crafting the whole thing. So a lot of times if you but even though you didn't build your costume, like the makeup and everything else, like all the little details made it like spectacular. So
well, thank you.
I think sometimes you don't have to make it all the time. Like
no, absolutely.
That's the most important. I think it's what you work with, whatever your materials are, wherever you get them.
Absolutely. That's a big thing. And it's something that I really believe in and stand by because, you know, like when I started, I didn't have everything under the sun. I didn't know how to use certain things and how to build armor. And I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
So whenever somebody asks me, I always tell them, like, you can start with whatever you have. You know, like I run to Goodwill. I get pieces from there. There are auctions around here that sell these big leather jackets. I repurpose the leather from the jackets because the fabric's cheaper, you know? So it's whatever you can learn to work with and whatever you can use. I'm only just now starting to learn how to build things. So it just takes time. And ironically, the first one I went to and I lost, and every single con after that I won something, except the only con I can't win is FredCon. But I'll come back next year and we'll see. But that's always really fun, and I joke about it. But like in all seriousness, one of the biggest things for me is meeting the people and the kids and making people happy. So if I don't win a shiny trophy or medal, it is what it is.
Exactly.
But, you know.
Yeah, the way you feel leaving a con with all, it's just the energy when you walk into the building of everyone just being so accepting and so hello and excited about your cosplay and like it's just you leave there with the best feeling in the world. So it's better than any trophy, I think.
I agree with you. I was just reading one of the comments talking about painting being oh, I can't read. My context blurred. Thrifting is almost an art. I agree. Thrifting can be detrimental to certain pieces, but yeah, no, that feeling like when I first walked in my very first one, and I was just swarmed, and it's like I couldn't walk 2 feet without pictures, and what's your Instagram, and who are you, where are you from? It's just all of these things.
You weren't expecting that.
No, and it's such a smaller thing, so I didn't expect much. And when I went to my first like big con, I mean, I couldn't move 2 feet. And it's not exaggeration. I don't think people realize that when I say that, but it's serious. Like, I can't walk 2 feet, and friends are like, I want to go to a con with you. And I'm like, I don't think you do. I'll never be able to talk to you. So it's so fun and just addicting almost. It's electrifying. It's so much fun to talk to everyone and just that energy.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes, Jeeves.
Excuse me.
I heard you the first time.
The photos won't show.
Oh, they won't show. Why
Oh.
not? Technical difficulties?
You'll have to hold them.
Oh, okay. I'll have to hold them up. Okay, well, we were going to do this little third screen and just have your photos show up for a little while and talk about them.
Oh.
And we tested it out and it worked fine, but for some reason it's not working now.
Silly internet.
Oh no.
So we can get back to that. The picture.
Yeah, we can just come back around if you want.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I wanted to show everybody what we're talking about, which is your Gamora.
Oh.
So I'm going to bring this up like so. Let's see, which way do I go?
Oh my god.
There's a big ring around it. This isn't what I wanted to do. I don't even
That's okay. That was one of the very first pictures taken of me at a con. That was from 2 years ago.
I know.
Oh,
you
the
look
makeup's so much better now.
awesome.
I hate looking at it now because like the hair and the makeup, but I do it so much better now.
Yeah, and then this was the when I met you.
I know, I remember that. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Wow. 2 years ago.
I know. So, what are you working on right now? Is there anything that you're in the works of, like a project?
Well, I always have too many ideas for my own good, and I always have what seems like 20 projects going on at once.
Yeah.
I have suits that are done that I need to shoot. I have stuff that I just haven't had the chance to get out yet.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of creation, something that we're shooting for, I say we, because my dad and I, it kind of became a family thing. Like we kind of all just started going together. And, you know, like growing up, my parents got me into Marvel and all of that. So it just makes sense. But we went to cons, you know, I did Jean Grey from the Dark Phoenix movie. My dad did Professor X. We built the whole Cerebro console and the chair, and we did the whole thing together. So,
Awesome.
and then we ended up doing Game of Thrones with my mom.
I
And
didn't know that was your family. Like, I had no idea that was like your dad.
Yeah, so that kind of became a tradition in a weird way. So him and I, we decided to build, and we're hoping we can get it done in time for one of the cons in October. But we are building him a giant Doc Ock with rotating claws and a whole thing. I'm making this is my first time ever making like a spandex tight suit. So, but I am making a Carnage MJ. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that doesn't fall apart. So yeah, that'll be really interesting to play with and to build. Well, I've built full ones before, but
Yeah.
everyone is always a little bit different, and the materials for this one are new. It's not so much armor as it is, you know, fabric and a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
So that'll be really interesting. But that's in the works.
Well, I'm excited to see that when it's getting ready, or when the grand reveal comes.
Yeah, hopefully.
I do want to. I am going to try to show some pictures because there are a few cosplays that you've done that I want to highlight a lot of like your special effects with your makeup and things like that. So we'll get to that. I'm going to save that one towards like the end.
Okay.
But let's talk about this.
Oh my god. Okay, so that this is what I consider to be my very first like big build. I call my half build was my Injustice 2 Black Canary. But this is Jayla from Star Trek, the new Star Treks, and I love Star Trek very much. And I fell in love with Jayla growing up, and I was going to GalaxyCon, and William Shatner was going to be there, and I was like, oh my god, I want to do this so bad. And it was one of the most challenging things I've ever done, from building the shirt from scratch and just everything, and her staff, and it lights up, and then having to do all of this, that right
there,
it's, so people don't know really, but it's a professional SFX bald cap, and it took the makeup, all in all that morning, I will tell you, I got up at like 4 in the morning. It took 6 hours.
Oh, I can.
But because my first time ever doing a bald cap, so you have to have it. You have to do liquid latex in order to blend it to your skin.
Mhm.
And then the paint didn't want to work, and I was like, I've never done this before. And then moving the hairline back, styling the wig, just everything, all of that, so much. But yeah, that's like my baby, and I won a judges award for it at one of the biggest ones I ever went to. So that was really cool.
Well, congratulations on that. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then I want to show everybody this.
Yeah, I got to meet William Shatner.
Get it right. There we go.
Oh,
there. It's not.
Beam me up.
There we go. He said, "What did you say?"
Beam me up.
beam me up, Scotty.
You're funny, Jeeves. I like you.
Love you. So yeah, he thought it was cool too. I was so nervous to meet him.
Yeah. What did he say about your?
It's funny because I walked up. I was my first time meeting someone too in a situation like this. And so they were telling us that we had to go really fast. We didn't have a lot of time. And the person, if I remember this correctly, the person in front of me was an older woman. She was in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to walk to him. And it was really sweet. And he was like encouraging her. And I kind of like stayed back and kind of kept the people back off of me too, because I wanted to give her, I didn't want her to feel rushed, and I didn't want her to fall. You know, like I'm very aware of that because like, my grandparents, I'm really close with them. So that's a big thing for me. So sorry, tangent. But so I kind of stayed back, and they were kind of rushing me through up there. So I ran up there and I quickly posed. I didn't want to expect. And he kind of turns and he's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, this is my thing, and I made this." And he was like, "That's so cool." And I was like, "Thanks."
He's the ultimate like.
Oh my God, right? I was like, William Shatner thinks I'm cool. So that was really awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of special makeup effects too, I want to keep in that right now before we go to another photograph. But this is a new photograph, but there's also really good makeup special effects here, Miss Jean.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so that was another one that after I did Gamora, you know, I had a lot of people telling me that I look like Sophie Turner. Mm-hmm. And so I never really saw it before, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, it wasn't really a thing. But people were like, "Oh my gosh, you should do Sansa, you should do Jean Grey." And I was like, well, I might as well. So I got home that night, I bought the suit, and I did all of the flame work on myself for the cons and my own hair, all of that. And like I said, my dad, Professor X, we built the whole thing together. And yeah, and then I did Sansa, so it kind of almost went together. But that was an edit that somebody had made for me. I wish I could remember the name now, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. But yeah, all of that was makeup and hand done. I feel like every time I do it, it's different. I try.
I know that whenever I do my Tomb Raider, I always have, because she gets scratches and abrasions all over and blood, and it's like they're never always in the exact same space ever again. You know, it's just like I'm trying. Like I try to pull up the photograph and just go by it.
Strider says he was behind you.
Strider. Strider said he was behind me when? When were you behind me?
Oh, was he talking about, I think we've talked about this before, in the line for William Shatner.
Oh!
I think he was behind me at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember that, because we were talking about that. But, yeah, every time my eyebrows will never be the same on 2 days. But
that's true. Just
never...
any makeup, like regular girl makeup. It's like,
no. So, yeah, SFX makeup has always kind of been a thing that I've wanted to do. Oh.
Yeah. Tell me real quick about why you wanted to do it. Why you wanted to do this. Like, this is amazing. I got to get closer.
Okay.
What?
Ouch.
Ouch. Here we go. There we go.
This was for Halloween. This is a special thing that I did. My college at the time, it was online because it was during COVID. And they were holding this contest for Halloween. And you got this grand prize, and I hadn't gotten to do anything, and I was having like cabin fever, and I was losing my mind, and I was like, I need to do something on my body.
Yeah.
So, one of the bigger inspirations for me personally, when it comes to SFX makeup and stuff like that, has always been these two YouTubers. It's Made You Look and then Glam and Gore. And so growing up, I would watch their videos and I taught myself how to do a lot of the things based on them. And so that is actually inspired by one of the looks that Glam and Gore did. She did a series a few years ago with all the Disney princesses in like different sort of glorified things. And I had that dress, that Cinderella dress, was actually my senior prom dress.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so I had it, I had the wig, and I was like, oh man, I really want to try to do this. I've never made a prosthetic before. So that prosthetic was actually made on a flat surface. I used hot glue to actually create a base between the plastic and my eye.
Okay.
So to protect the eye, for if some reason I actually did fall or I slammed into a wall because I have no depth perception,
Right.
it wouldn't go right into my eye. It would make a hot glue brace. That way the hot glue would absorb the bounce.
It's like a shock absorber.
Yeah, so that's one of the big things with SFX makeup is making sure you can do it safely.
Yeah.
So having that base first and then building around that and off of that with liquid latex, and a big thing that I like to use is the cotton and liquid latex method. You tear apart cotton balls and then you build off of that. So that was the first time ever making a prosthetic, and it was very fun. And I won that one too.
Yeah. How long did it take you to put that together? Like from
So to make the prosthetic, it was my very first time. And the plastic, that's like the glass slipper, was actually an old CD case. I put it in a plastic bag and I smashed it. I just took the pieces. So all in all, the prosthetic itself took, I would say, maybe like 3-ish hours. Application, I've never done that before, so that was really stressful. The day of, all of the makeup, I would say, took maybe 2 to 3.
Okay.
Mainly because I saved time doing, half of my makeup on my face, and I didn't have to worry about matching eyebrows.
Right.
So, but it was a matter of, having it there, spirit gumming it, making sure I could have the latex come around it in order to actually hold it to my face. So, yeah, definitely experience. I still have it under my sink. I kept it as a little souvenir. I'm not gonna get rid of it.
No, yeah, you always have to keep those. You never know when you can repurpose it or use it for, use it again. You never know.
It definitely taught me a lot. So, yeah, it's in my pocket. And I was like, this is definitely related to what I do, right? So I was like, I'll post this, and it did way better than I expected it to.
Yeah.
So
it's fun to experiment like that and see, because there's so many different people out there that have so many different interests and things that they like. And it's like, I'm still learning about all of these different like shows and mangas, and like, I just, there's so much I don't know about what's going on in the community, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show. Because I feel like if I don't know that much, except for my little like Doctor Who world, then there's probably other people out there. So it's like, it's great to share knowledge and experiences with each other and hacks and things like that. Because all it does is it builds us up as a community.
Sharing.
And that's something that I really wanted to do because, when I first got into this, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And there were some times where you would have some people who would just be super rude and they wouldn't tell you, where they got something from or how they did something. And it's kind of like, okay, well, this is weird.
Like that, they were keeping everything like exclusive.
Yeah. I've always said this, because when I did Jean Grey and that blew up, I had a lot of people coming to me like, where'd you get your suit from? How do you do the makeup? I would send people video tutorials of how I did it. And they're like, oh my God, like, why would you do this? People don't normally do this. And I said this before and I always say it, but, no matter what part we're from, we're all nerds.
Yeah.
And nobody's better than anybody else.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, like, it's crazy to me how some people can have that attitude of like, I'm better than you, or I'm this or I'm that because I have a higher number on my social medias. It's like, okay. But at the end of the day, we're all the same. Like, we're all nerds in a costume.
Yeah, and we're all super passionate about what we're passionate about, you know? It's just
So it's like, you know, I've never understood that, and I don't think I ever will.
I don't either. I mean, you and I must be cut from the same cloth because I'm just like you. Like, where did you get that? And I'm always like, let me look this up. And one of my Instagram friends, I helped source her a jacket for one of. There she is. There's Mercy's song. I helped her find a jacket. I just always want to help people be like make themselves. If they have an idea of what they're trying to achieve, then I want to do anything I can to help them make that goal.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was something that I experienced at a bigger con that I went to. I won't say where, but there was a panel of judges. It was my first time ever being on a big stage like that. And there was one judge that was the absolute sweetest to me. And he took the time to like talk to me, and I was still brand new. And he took the time to talk to me and explain everything and just talk about like building and costumes and just everything under the sun. And the other judges they kind of turned their nose down at me, and they kind of acted like I wasn't good enough. And when the time came to get off the stage, you know, I had people still asking for pictures from below. And one of the things I also have as a moral is I'm never going to turn someone away. Unless it's like an emergency, I'm never going to turn someone away and tell them no in terms of that.
Right.
You know, especially like kids, because it only takes one bad experience to ruin something for someone.
Didn't you have a bad experience as a child?
Mm-hmm. And so
yeah,
that was like a big thing for me was, you know, when I got into this, I never wanted to be that for someone else.
Right.
And so, you know, they were kind of like shooing me off the stage and rushing me off, and it was just very, very fast and talking down to me. And the one guy was just the absolute sweetest, and I'll never forget it. But yeah, that was one of the biggest experiences I had in person where it came to, you know, that whole weird elitism thing online that kind of transformed into real life for a second. So yeah, but that's definitely a small portion. So if anybody ever experiences that, you know, take it with a grain of salt.
Don't let it get to you, because it's not you, it's that person's issue. Like,
it's weird. It's the weirdest energy. I will never get it. It's just weird. It's like, dang, dude, that's not a cool look.
Mercy has suggested making a t-shirt with the slogan, "No matter what, we're all nerds in a t-shirt."
Woo! I love it.
That's so cute. Aww.
I think we should. I think that would be a great t-shirt to wear, like at a con. We're all just nerds in a t-shirt.
It's funny because I was thinking about making my own shirts and having them. I might have to use that as my little, like, that's really cute.
I'd wear
that.
You'd wear it too?
Yeah.
Oh, well, where would you wear it? I don't know if it would fit you. We'd have to make it special for you.
on my head.
Oh, on your head.
On the top.
Your hair right here. All right, so the last picture I'm going to show is your most current cosplay, at least the one that I saw.
Yes.
And I think it's amazing. And it's very popular right now because of the new movie that just came out. But it's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, that was my Black Widow. Ironically, that was the first time I ever did Black Widow makeup, by the way, so it's much better now, I promise. But yeah, this was one of the first big suits. That's another suit that I made kind of last minute. I had a buddy of mine at the time who he had messaged me and he was like, "Hey, I have a cap suit. I have a shoot set up for this date." He's like, "Do you want to do Widow?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I cannot get a Widow suit here in time." So I was like, "Well, let me see what I have." And so I took my old workout gear and I remodified all of it, and then I built a bunch of stuff and I just kind of started piecing stuff together, and it all kind of came together and worked out. So yeah, and the batons, of course, but yeah, so I ramble a lot. You have to stop me.
Where's Jeeves? You're supposed to be keeping us on track here.
It's okay. Ramble a lot.
Just
tell me to shut up.
All right. So I told you in when we were speaking before you came on, just to kind of give you an idea of this new little thing that we want to start doing,
Right.
the ultimate convention.
Yeah.
So I wanted to let you think about it because I didn't want to just put you on the spot. Because I really wanted to give it, I wanted you to give it a lot of thought because I really want to know, like deep down.
Yeah.
So if you were to go to a convention anywhere in the world, anytime in the world, where would your ultimate con be held?
All right. So this is the hard one. This is the one that I've been just mulling over for like a day. Because the honest answer is I don't know for this one. Because, I mean, is it like unlimited? Can I like go anywhere I want with like no repercussions?
Let me ask you, would it be better for you if I said there's no limits? Or would it be easier for you if I set a limit?
I don't know. I could try both ways.
All right, I'm going to tell you there's no limits.
Okay.
This is cosplay. There's never any limits.
If there were no limits, I would... Ooh. If there were absolutely no limits whatsoever, because I'm so used to staying within my bubble of travel.
Right. You could even go back in time if you wanted to.
Oh, that completely changes my answer. Okay, yeah. if I could go anywhere, it would either be, if I had to go present day, it would be to England. I've always wanted to go to England, and I have a lot of friends overseas who, you know, cosplay and get into it. So I would love to meet all of them.
Yeah.
So I would love to go over there. If I could go back in time, I would go back to either New York Comic Con or San Diego Comic Con in order to meet Stanley. That, I mean, I have.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But I would give anything to be able to go back to any con he was at.
Well, see, I think that he would be the celebrity that you would see if you could, but this is if you could go back in time.
I know.
Yeah.
So my answer would be back in time, anywhere he's at.
Yeah.
As weird as that may sound.
When you want to pick, like maybe San Diego Comic Con, because I feel like that's like the biggest one.
That's the biggest one, the farthest away from me. So
yes.
probably that one. Probably over there.
Yeah. Experience.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Spider from Mexico.
What?
From Mexico?
Mexico.
Hello, Spider from Mexico. Hey, Spider. I like that you're keeping up with people's comments, Jeeves. That's great, because I can't see.
I can't. I'm far enough where my contacts blur it, so.
I don't even have my contacts in because they ripped the other day, so I can't put them in. I don't. My glasses last time were like light was glued everywhere. So, okay. So Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. Your 3 cosplays. Go.
Is this assuming stuff that I already have, or whatever I want?
Whatever you want. This is your ultimate.
Okay. First day, I want my own Iron Man suit. I want to do it. I want like a big Iron Man suit. I don't want one of the ones that's like the cheapest possible. I want like the big one, the one that like lights up, the one that you can use the repulsors with, like the whole shebang. I want to go for it. I want to go for it. Absolutely go for it. That one's like probably one of the bucket list things I wish I could have. If I could have anything, and I'm a huge Transformers nerd, by the way. So if I could have anything on Saturday, I want to be in a giant Bumblebee, like huge suit, full armor. I want to be able to talk. I want to have the whole thing. Like, I love the idea of being completely transformed to the point that no one knows who you are.
No,
there's no judgment.
No.
I love the idea of people not even knowing that I'm a girl and then taking off my helmet and people being like, what?
Like your hair goes down like, yes.
Oh, a whole moment. Are you kidding? I would so go for that. And then I think my final day, my brother is a big influence on me as well. And so he got me into video games as a kid. So I owe a lot to him. And I've been trying to get him to a con. So growing up, we played the Halo series together. So if I could do anything, I think I would get him a Master Chief suit, and I would absolutely have a full Arbiter, just whole thing. That would be so cool to not even to just. I love going all out. I love having big things. I love the lights and the movement and the sounds and just full on everything. So I think if I could just full go for it with no budget and no restraints and all talent, that's what I would go for.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know the Transformers.
What did you say?
I know the Transformers.
You're over Transformers. Why?
The Transformers. Ooh.
I know the Transformers.
Is
Oh,
there
you know the Transformers.
Oh, you know them. I thought he said he's over them. He knows them.
Well, that's very cool.
What?
Fought in the war for Suburban.
Fought in the war? Okay. I didn't understand that last thing you said, but that's okay. You just said you fought in the war. Thank you for your service. All right. So, celebrity meet and greet.
Yeah.
Anybody? I already know if he was alive, it would probably be. I know who it would be. But so let's say alive at this moment.
All right. Alive would be Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
First, for sure.
With you wearing your Iron Man.
That would be so cool,
right?
That would be so cool.
It would be.
Oh my god, I would probably pass out. Like I would actually probably think.
Mask off though. Would you take the mask off for the photo?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I have to. Otherwise, no one knows it's me. I can't prove
You'd
it.
have to hold it in your arm like it was like.
Have him hold it, right? The whole thing. Yeah, definitely that one. If I could have anybody else who isn't alive, I would say Robin Williams or Stan Lee.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I have this little pillow. I have a whole blanket mural, but there was this artist I met at GalaxyCon who made this.
Aww.
And it was a tribute to him. And it has all of his character references on it.
You're a big fan. Did you? I absolutely love that movie. And Rufio is actually going to be at one of the smaller cons around here soon. I'll have to tell you which one it is.
So yeah, he was a big influence on me growing up too. So that would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be. I miss him so much. He was such.
Yeah.
I experienced him when he was Mork from Ork. Nanu Nanu. You found out how old I am, so. But I used to watch it and it would come on TV.
That's so cool. No, yeah, growing up I had all these movies, like Mrs. Doubtfire, all the Night at the Museum movies, Peter, everything, you know, and he got me into acting and theater.
Yeah. He left such a mark.
Yeah.
You know? And I think mental health awareness is a very important thing, and I want to try to advocate for it much more. That's one of the things that I want to focus on throughout this venture of mine here. So I'm glad you brought him up. It's wonderful. Okay. So if you could get a photo, would you do it with the same person you would meet and greet, or would it be something other? Would you? Because think about staging the photo. Like you want the best photo ever. Like what would it be?
Okay. It would either be, all right. It would either be Tom Holland, because he does some of the funniest pictures, or Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki from Supernatural, because they also do I've seen some of the funniest meet and greet pictures, some of the coolest things. So either one of them, I think, because it would just be so fun.
Yeah.
For sure one of those. I got to meet Michael Rooker, and I was dressed as Gamora, and he was absolutely hilarious. So something that can top that. I need something that can top that for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty hard to top because he's funny.
He's so funny. Oh my god, man.
Oh gosh. All right. So the last thing, you're walking around the con.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, if you could run into anyone with any cosplay on and interact with them, what cosplay would it be that you would run into?
That's so hard. Okay, so the thing is that, like,
yes,
you know, you meet so many people of all different walks of life from all different things. So I feel like I've met so many people with so many different, like, backgrounds and costumes. Ironically, like, I've met people in Iron Man suits. I've met people in a bunch of stuff that I love, but I have to say this because, again, I'm a big Transformers nerd. I've never seen anybody yet, personally in person myself, in a big Transformers suit. The only time that happened was when I went to Disney and Universal. So that would be really cool. Aside from that, if I got to meet like an actual cosplayer, it would have to be either any of the people that I've met online that are my friends that I can't meet yet, or Allison Tabitha. She's really talented. I feel like I have so many questions for her. Like, I would love to be able to learn from her and the makeup side of everything that she does, you know?
Yeah.
Insane.
And
but yeah.
Well, that sounds like a pretty cool con. Yeah.
Definitely all over the place, but you know, it kind of matches, it kind of fits. Everybody's welcome.
Exactly.
There's no theme.
Oh, yes. Real quick, I just wanted to say hi to Aussie Arsenal, who said mental health is also honestly so important. And
yes.
Hello. Thank you. For
love. Yeah.
All right. So where do you see yourself going in the future with this cosplay? Like, do you want to go and push it to the next level and try to be like a professional? I know, like, I can see if you did that, you would have a lot of opportunities of like visiting children, because I know that's very important to you. Like, that's one of the things that you really like hold close to your heart, is just being there for the kids and being like it's like magic when a child sees Gamora or Blackwidow.
Yeah, it's walking through those doors and, you know, having kids run up to, you know, I just did a shoot as Scarlet Witch in my full thing, and I had so many people on the street, you know, yelling at me and talking to me and all of that. So that feeling of walking in and having a kid and talk to you, and especially as the character, it can be a little stressful. But, you know, because I'm always worried about, you know, could you imagine ruining a character for a kid? Oh my God, I could never.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a big thing for me. I've always wanted to do a children's hospital visit. I've always wanted to do charity work in that regard. With COVID and everything, I got involved with a friend group. We do charity live streams.
Okay.
We just raised, I want to say between 1,500 to 2,000, somewhere in that area, for the Trevor Project for Pride Month. So that's something that I really love to do, and it's tough because I know that's such a narrow, you know, shot of people who do make it professionally, and if I could, I would love to, but realistically, I don't think it's possible yet, just because, you know, I'm smaller and I'm new, and also, you know, school and everything else.
Yeah.
I could maybe. It would be pretty cool.
You are a theater kid. I mean, you studied it. You know.
Yeah, it would definitely be really, really cool. You know, right now I'm studying to become a forensic scientist, so that's definitely two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I could, I think I would. I think I would go for it for sure.
You can do it. Like, I told you a little story about me. I'm a nurse, and I'm currently not working at the moment, just because I took off to stay home with my son because school's closed down. But I was a neuroscience nurse, and I had a patient who suffered from like a really bad spinal meningitis, and he'd been in our ward for like 9 months, and he finally got discharged, and it was the Richmond GalaxyCon, and every day afterwards, I was off that weekend, so I would go and visit him and show him the cosplays, and I know, like, how it's like, how do you mix science and medicine with cosplay? But it's funny because at Halloween we had a bunch of doctors dress up as the gang from Toy Story. It's just, even if you don't do it professionally, I think it's just amazing, like, just going out and just touching those kids, you know, like touching their hearts and souls and lifting them up when they're sad. And really,
for sure. That's something that I've always wanted to do. And I've just never gotten the opportunity to yet. Hopefully someday soon I will. But yeah, no, for sure.
Well, that's wonderful going into forensic science. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's very fun. A little nerve-wracking again, but you know, a lot of science, a lot of math, a lot of studying.
Oh yeah, I know. I know. Science, any degree in science is like really like hard.
For sure, yeah. But no, just it's also so interesting too, you know, just the sheer range of people, you know, all ages, all kinds. You know, my nana, which before she's in a nursing home now, but you know, before she always loved seeing what I did. She didn't understand it. She never watched the stuff. She didn't, you know, get into it, but she loved seeing it, and she's a big inspiration for me too. But sorry, tangent again. But just the range of people, like when you walk into a con in a room of all ages and seeing so many people excited about things, you know, it's just, it never disappoints. It, no matter what you do, even with Jayla, I was so worried that nobody would know who I was. Even though there was a big like Star Trek section there, I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is such a niche thing. I was like, oh no. But it was crazy how many people, you know, appreciated it. So that's a big thing for me too. Not just like kids, but just every single kind of person. It's something that is so universal in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I wanted to wrap it up real quick, but before I do, I wanted to leave on one of the messages that you posted to your followers about, you know, not setting limits for yourself and making sure you're happy and doing what you want to do and pushing yourself and out of your like comfort zone and pushing yourself to just grow. Like, tell me a little bit more about that, and then maybe, you know, it would just be a great message for everyone to hear. It made me cry when I was watching it, and I just like kept getting like really teared up. I was just like, oh my gosh, because I could really relate to what you were saying, and it touched my heart. And the fact that you're 20 years old and you realize this already, it took me until I was 40 to realize that. You know, the last 3 years of my life, I've been living it the way you were describing. But I just want you to tell everyone about that. I think it's very inspirational.
So, I mean, it's something I still struggle with, of course. It's not an overnight thing. But all of that kind of epiphany, it kind of stemmed from during COVID. Like I said, I'm very close with my Nana. She means a lot to me. And so there was a situation where she fell, she go to the hospital, she had to have surgery, she went into rehab, she wasn't recovering. We found out she had Lewy body dementia, she went into a nursing home. So all of that kind of happened at once, and it hit me, and it kind of just made me rethink like everything. And I kind of realized, you know, when I took a step back, I was like, man, you know, I've spent, like, I'm turning 20, and I spent 20 years not liking myself. And it was one of those realizations where I caught myself, because I would say things like, oh, I would love to do Starfire, but, you know, I don't feel comfortable doing that, you know, or I'm too insecure. Yeah, there's always a but, right? And, you know, in high school and middle school, I had a really hard time with food and with body dysmorphia and eating disorders and stuff like that. So I kind of sat down with myself, and I was like, okay, what if I just took a year? Like, what would happen if I just did every single thing I'm afraid of? And if I just did it?
Yeah.
Like, what's going to stop me? What's going to happen? What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
So, and one of the motivations behind that was, you know, I kind of told myself, you know, if my Nana had more time, she wouldn't waste it.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to waste the time that I had, because we don't know how much time we have.
Yeah, time is like the one commodity that you can never get back. Once it's gone forever. So it's so precious.
And I know that 20 is young, but, you know, I hit that mark, and I kind of was like, wow, I've wasted so much time caring so much about things that don't matter.
Yeah.
About
what other people think more than what you
know? Yeah. And so I literally said, screw it. And I bought the Injustice 2 Starfire suit, and I did it. I was petrified of posting it online. But I did it, and it was so much fun. It's one of my favorite things I've done, I think. And that was also when I pushed myself, and I was like, what if I just build this? Like, what could happen? You know, what if I just do this? What if I just film this? And it has opened up so many doors. I can't even begin to do that. You know, I got my first ever PR box from Marvel. I got it for Loki. I got I couldn't go because I couldn't afford the plane tickets and the hotel rooms, but I got the opportunity to go possibly to either the Loki premiere or the Blackwidow premiere, but maybe one day soon. But you know, it's just when you stop putting these limits on yourself, the world is already going to do that for you. And so you don't need to help it. They don't need help. And yeah, I guess that's just kind of what I learned. I was just like, you know, what's the worst that can happen? And that's kind of the logic I went with for a year. And
look where it's gotten you.
Yeah. so far, I think it's worked slowly.
Yeah, I think the moral of this story is whatever you can dream, if you just take a leap of faith and just trust that you can do it and believe you can do it. I feel like that is it's almost like the energy that carries you through it. You know, it really does. And then if it doesn't work, it's okay. The worst thing is like, oh, I might be a little embarrassed or whatever, but there's tomorrow and you can try.
Like I know personally, I regret more not doing something than something and failing.
I regret not doing things versus what I've done.
Yeah. And I think there's this one quote by Stan Lee. I'm going to say it wrong, but it's one of my favorite things he's ever said. And it was at a con, I believe. But he said, if you have an idea that you genuinely believe is a good idea, don't let somebody tell you that you can't do it. You know? Yeah. So that's definitely something that I've lived by, especially for the past year.
That's awesome.
Because I definitely had a lot of people growing up, you know, like instructors or teachers, specifically with theater, who didn't believe in me or who said I couldn't do things. And I'm the type of person where if you tell me I can't, I'll do it just to prove a point. Yeah. Like I was told I couldn't do tech stuff in heels. So every day for the entire year, I showed up tech class in heels and I built sets in heels. Just to prove a point.
I think you're like my little baby sister. You must be related.
Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of people who have told me that this is stupid or I'm wasting my time. I've had people tell me, you know, you're a grown adult and you dress up in costumes and they think it's a bad thing. And I'm like, well,
are you happy?
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing? You know, what are you doing for someone else? What have you done today? So, yeah, that's definitely something that I think if you ever hear that, most of the time that stems from jealousy. Yeah. And you just gotta be happy, man.
You have to live your own life because at the end of the day, you're the only one that's left alone with yourself, you know?
Yeah, exactly, right? And like, I've always said it, but I don't like doing normal things. I don't like being normal. And so I always said I could never work an office job because I would be so bored. I need something that changes. I need something where I'm moving. And somehow this just kind of fell into my lap. And I've been doing it ever since, and I love it, and I would never change it. So yeah, that's definitely, it goes hand in hand. If I'm told I can't do something, I will do it just to spite someone. So
I think you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you out in the cons later on throughout the season.
Mercy Song in the comments says you're like Catwoman.
What?
Mercy in the comments says you're like Catwoman.
You're like Catwoman, Mercy.
Ironically, growing up, she was a favorite character, and I have all the Catwoman comics. So that means a lot. I have a Catwoman cosplay as well. I love Catwoman. Thank you.
Well, Astra, it's been great talking with you. I'm glad we got to catch up.
Thank you.
So just so everybody knows, we do this every Wednesday. Next week, we have Face of Bows joining us.
I love her.
I want to do an Amy and a River reel together. Please, mother. Please, mother.
Yes, absolutely. Shoots, films, anything. Yeah. I'm all for it.
All right. Well, have a great rest of the night.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.